unconstructed, unsuccessful, unpopular, destroyed, stolen, lost, forgotten, concealed, and unallowed inventions, Part 5. Here we have the flying saucer, the flying disc. These things have been seen for millennia and centuries and decades. Far too many people have seen them in order for them not to be real. Somebody has to build and fly and maintain these things, which means they are real. These things belong to the bad people and the demons and the fallen angels. These inventions belong to the forces of darkness, and nobody else is allowed to have these things. This is another revolutionary car invention, the Pogo carburetor. It was designed by a man called Charles Nelson Pogue in the 1930s, 1940s. This is a vapor-powered engine. It allows you to drive for hundreds of miles on almost nothing but vapor. I'll zoom in so you can read the instructions. This is another unallowed invention, blocked by the forces of evil and darkness. This engine was before Tom Mogul and his engine. This thing could have changed the transportation industry, the automobile industry, the energy industry, even the environment. We have another radio hat here. It could pick up frequencies, maybe even play songs. This invention never became popular. This is a armored vehicle for stopping protesters and rioters. It was planned to build a giant armored vehicle in the 1950s or 60s and blast protesters and demonstrators and rioters with these special liquid guns. This invention was never built. Now this is the Saab 1300 experimental bomber. This was designed to be a super fast bomber, but this plane was never built. This plastic model in this glass case is all that's left of this plane. Whoever designed this invention could have increased your military power and speed. They gave up, and this was never built. And this is all that's left. I think this would have been a huge success. It looks sort of like the Blackbird. This is another invention from World War II. The pigeon-guided missile, developed by Skinner, a behavioral scientist. His idea was to train pigeons and put them inside special missile heads so they can direct the missiles by picking at a screen with a target. And the results were more than perfect. They were completely accurate, with almost no mistakes. Near perfect results. Here is another overview of the pigeon-guided missile. This invention was never used, but if my knowledge and instincts are correct, this thing would have worked. Of course, the pigeons were suiciders and would have been sacrificed. I'm absolutely sure, my military knowledge, I'm absolutely sure that this invention would have worked. This is another forbidden, unallowed invention, the lighter-than-air flotation disk. Since gravity doesn't exist, objects that are levitate are simply levitating objects that are lighter than air. All you need to be is simply be lighter than air in order to hover, and you don't need gravity to do that. In the 1950s, this man designed a hover disk, basically similar to the flying saucer technology, but nothing ever came out of this. There was also a woman in the 1990s, I think, 80s or 90s, who also designed a levitating lighter-than-air disk. She went into China to demonstrate her invention or to seek funding or I don't know what, and no one ever heard from her again. I don't know what happened to her. She had a internet site with her inventions. That site was from the early 2000s, and since then, that site hasn't been modified or updated at all. Nothing came of this levitating disk invention. This is another unpopular one, the sonic grenade. When you pull the trigger and throw it, it launches a powerful vibrational explosion. This invention is forbidden in many places. The color design is perfect. Yellow and black, like a bee or a wasp. This is an experimental hyperspeed passenger plane, the Spike S512. They're actually building this right now or working on it. Many hyperplanes like this were scrapped, but this one, it's still unknown what will happen to it, whether it will be a success or not. Now these windows are not actually windows, they're camera lenses. Seems like a prison to build a plane without any windows. People will only be able to see what the camera visuals allow them to see. This is the design for the spike hyperplane. This is another lost invention. This is just a picture of the demonstration. There's no real photo of the actual invention because it's just a formula. This is an invention called starlight. It was designed in the 1980s by a chemist, self-taught, who died in 2010-2011 and took the secret with him. Starlight was basically a armored plastic formula, a formula for a armored sort of liquid or gel. This invention, incredible invention, was capable of withstanding heat up to 10,000 degrees and was immune to lasers and flamethrowers. Anything covered in starlight would be immune to tens of thousands of degrees, lasers and flamethrowers, even explosions. But the inventor didn't want his formula to be stolen and reverse engineered or used by the forces of darkness, so he never revealed it. He died, and the formula died with him. End of Part 5.